This is Drop Tent Media Network.
It's true. Whenever I get sleepy, my left eye closes.
When I get sleepy, I do the inadvertently. I guess it's a human thing, but babies do it hard, where you touch your face a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
my mom told me that when I was a baby and she would look back, I was tired. She said I look like a doll because like my one eye would close, like because I get sleepy like that. I could see it, especially when I've been like drinking too.
like partial narcolepsy. Like,
I've probably just been having a stroke my whole life and we've been ignoring it.
It comes out when you get sleepy.
Is it a sexy wink? My eyes never fully shut. I've ever told you that? Like when I'm sleeping, they're like open just a little bit.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I've slept next to you. We've shared bed before. I never knew that.
Why didn't you look at me while I was sleeping? Why didn't you?
I did. I never noticed.
It's like hard to see, but yeah.
Interesting.
Well, you know, we've talked about having big eyes, but yeah, the way they're like shaped, it like doesn't fully close.
Interesting, especially when I guess if like your head is back too, you would really notice it.
Yeah, I mean, I met someone this weekend who said she works in sleep science, and basically,
ooh, that's actually so cool.
It was cool, and lightly didn't diagnose because we were at a party, but lightly suggest that I should get tested for sleep apnea.
Okay, do you snore?
No,
yeah, you
just really vivid dreams.
Oh,
never sleep.
Yeah,
inconsistent sleep. Not feeling like I slept when I wake up. Yeah, quite a few things where she said it's very common.
The test is tough though. Like the sleep, I've done like sleep studies for same thing, like never snoring, but for like just can't sleep.
Why snoring seems so embarrassing?
I don't feel like it is embarrassing.
Maybe I'm just an asshole. Someone I know.
I guess it depends. If you snore like so bad, then maybe it is. But I'm just thinking like the light.
My college boyfriend snored so bad that I didn't sleep for 4 years while we did it.
I have really little tolerance. Probably my version of what you were saying about guys' bodies is when people snore only because they've gained weight. And your doctor says like you can stop snoring if you lose weight. And still those people like make their wife basically sleep on the couch every night, or like they don't even sleep in the same bed anymore because that's how much they refuse to just lose weight.
You hate fat people?
Yeah, I hate fat people. Yeah.
Got it.
But like
just trying to cancel you after my cancellation a few episodes
That's perfect.
Yeah, so if there's something you could do about it.
If your doctor says to you.
Like, hey, dropping 5 pounds, like, great. And if you physically are able to do that, great.
Right.
Because I'm caveating everything I say now about men losing weight. But I will say my current boyfriend recently, I woke up to him lightly snoring and I looked over and just closed his mouth.
Yep.
I just like popped him in the chin.
Sometimes.
And went back to sleep and I didn't hear him. And then we were like out to breakfast the next day. I was like, hey, sorry, uppercutted you in the middle of the night. And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, you didn't feel me close your mouth with my fist.
He needed it.
He had no idea.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, I shouldn't have said anything. I should tape his mouth shut.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They sell that. Like this, like people will use that to try to help them not snore.
I asked for his permission if I could talk about him on the podcast, and I just said one of the worst stories I could have said about him too.
And also that you think snoring is embarrassing. So
I just doing anything in your sleep can be embarrassing.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Like I used to date someone that like sleep talk, and I would like wake up. And he'd be like, I gotta go start the grill. And I'd be like, what the
No, you don't, bro.
You don't have a grill. Yeah, I would just be so stunned. Story anything out of your own control seems embarrassing.
Yeah, like just
it's not.
Even if what you did isn't weird at all, it's just the fact that you didn't do it on purpose.
You're newly dating someone, the last thing you want to do is
Yeah, you're right.
I think personally, if you're trying to still be cute.
Sure, okay. But yeah, I guess I don't think, I guess it depends on the level of snoring.
I'm a very light sleeper.
Yes, you are, yes.
Any sound is gonna throw me off.
That was the preface that you gave me when you and I had our first trip away together and we shared a bed and you were like, I'm a very light sleeper. And I was like, I'm a very heavy sleeper. I mean, I'll wake up, but I can go back to sleep always. Yeah. And you were like, I am going to just like try to like stay on my side and like, whatever. And then I woke up and you had actually built a little pillow fort between us. So I actually never knew even if you were there or not. I would just knock and just see.
No, I had a guy friend who invited me on this trip, and I was like flying out to see him.
Yeah.
I'll disclose who after. And I always said, I was like, I'm putting pillows between us. And he was like, yeah, okay. Like thinking I was being like sexy for me. And I was like, I got there. I might as well have put goggles on, like the way I got to work building this pillow fort. And he was like, we're just watching TV. I was like, yeah, I'm just watching TV.
Yeah.
Like, don't touch me.
What I'm watching on TV is different than what you're watching on TV because we're in different beds, basically.
And then it's obviously so funny to see pillows up between you.
It is, especially if they stay the whole time. But hotel pillows are fucking thick. Yeah. And you had a solid foundation.
Also, any guy that has been in my room has said something about my bed being like hotel-esque. But then I just realized that guys just sleep on shitty beds.
Your bed is big.
It's high up, and I have a bunch of pillows.
I see. Guys don't have bed frames, so they just can't.
True.
They're like, you have a bed frame like in hotels?
Like, why aren't there rats in your mattress?
I don't think you're allowed to have those in a house.
Why isn't there a nest up here?
And then they see your little bird feeder at the window, and there is.
Oh, yeah, you had an icebreaker question for me.
I do. Okay. So, I have a couple, but I'm not going to use them all today, obviously. Okay. All right, this is actually really on brand for this conversation. Okay. Let me start by saying hotel beds do not count for what I'm about to ask. Okay. What's the craziest thing you've ever eaten in bed?
I'm not someone that eats in bed. Mm-hmm. I just had Indian food on the floor of my hotel. Okay. Because I tried to start eating it in the bed. Indian food's gotta be the craziest.
Yeah. Well, I was saying hotel beds don't count because I feel like often it's the only place you can eat anyway.
So I've never eaten in my bed.
You've never eaten in your bed? Even when you're sick or something?
No. Yuck. I have such a hard time sleeping that I don't do anything in my room.
Sure. Okay.
That my room is for like changing and sleeping.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then I'll have to ask a different one.
Chaotic. Well, I can tell you the grossest thing someone else has eaten in my guest bed because I have to wash the sheets.
I know it.
I won't call him out, but one of my guy friends.
He knows who he is.
He knows who he is.
He's a comic.
He's not going to listen to this because he thinks he's better than us.
He does think he's better than us.
I love him, but he is one to still say he lives like an immigrant. Mm-hmm. And he was alone in my house. Mm-hmm. There's so many tables. I have 3 tables upstairs, 3 downstairs, plenty of shelving space.
Counter,
and I wasn't home, and he still chose to. And I only know this because he left my house because he got a hotel one night, and we were on the same show that night, and I showed up at the show, and he's like, hey, this is so embarrassing, but like, I spilled food in your bed. And I was like, what do you mean? Mm-hmm. Why would you even, because my brain, I don't bring food into my room at all. So I was like, he's like, I just like ate in bed and I spilled sauce on your sheets. And I was like, I appreciate you telling me. But you never needed to, because as soon as anybody leaves my home, I strip the sheets as if you pissed yourself. Without looking, just ball them up, leave. And
telling you didn't change anything.
Now I know I can make fun of you for the rest of infinity forever.
Yeah.
That I left you home for 5 hours, and what you did was order takeout and eat it in a room that doesn't even have the TV. So what the fuck were you doing?
Yeah. Okay. Well, first of all, I will change my question then.
I get feeling weird when you're in someone else's house.
Yes.
And like he wanted to stay in the room. Yeah, but I really wasn't home, and he stayed at my house.
You have a chair though in that room.
2 tables. There's a
but
chair.
I mean, in that room,
physical room, there's a big chair. Yeah.
Like you have like a
there's not an outside deck with a table and chairs
in that room.
Literally anything he could have. The coffee table, the literal table in my kitchen, literally.
Okay, so then I will change the question. Okay, but first I will say we I think have very different schools of thought of this because
you can sleep.
Well, I can sleep, but also because when you grow up in the hospital,
everyone's cleaning everything for you.
Well, you eat every meal in a bed. Like you don't. My entire life, that's always how it's been. And even when I'm homesick, I still am so sick I can't get out of bed.
Yeah.
Everything I eat. And then I lived in a studio apartment in college.
Yeah.
And there was nowhere to eat other than my bed.
Yeah. Like I'm like not poor and dying. I can't answer your question. Sorry.
Well, then do me a favor.
Sorry, I'm thriving.
Imagine a world.
No, sorry.
Imagine a world where you had worse circumstances.
Can't.
And you had, I'm going to say it, imagine you had cystic fibrosis.
Okay.
Just pulls out a gun and shoots herself. What would be the craziest thing to eat in bed? My first thought was birria tacos.
Yeah.
With the dip, obviously.
I'm thinking like a seafood fra diavolo. Like a
seafood anything. That's a good one. Yeah.
Like
crab
mussels
legs.
with red sauce.
Cracking
spicy.
crab legs in bed.
Well, you've seen that like person that does like dorm cooking and they have like that hot plate and
That
they do
is-
like lobster and I'm like, honestly, I like if someone like made a peanut butter sandwich in a dorm, it smells for like 3 days.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine seafood in it. Can't imagine.
It's funny that the same one you remember from that because I have seen all of those videos and the one that stuck with me the most also was the lobster mac and cheese.
Cracking of the lobster.
Cracking lobster in a bed.
I'm like a messy person, but I'm not a dirty person.
Yeah.
So like the idea of things like that.
Yeah.
Chills.
Yeah, no, I truly will eat so many meals in bed voluntarily, but not like
It makes
under
sense
the
that your
covers.
perspective that is so different. Like my mom we couldn't even eat in the living room. Like when my mom would be out of the house, I would like go in the living room with like a bowl of soup. And I inevitably spill it on everything because I couldn't handle my newfound freedom.
Soup is obviously a funny one too.
I love soup.
But like to do soup in a bed would be also when I say in bed, I don't mean like
sexual.
Under the covers.
Lingerie.
You know how the way girls sit in bed? Always cute.
That guy friend that I built pillow forts with, he told me, like, I guess I kind of fell asleep and I woke up to him eating Taco Bell. Like, I literally was asleep in the hotel bed and I looked to my left and he's just looking at me, offering me a Baja Blast.
A Baja Blast.
Like literally just really holding it out as if I was like a hamster needing like the side of my cage. Like I was going to wake up to a Baja Blast and just go back in my nest. He literally looked at me,
bottle. Yeah.
And then he's like, "You seriously don't want any?" And I was like, "I've never seen anything less attractive, less appetizing. If I could build 3 more pillow forts, I would."
We are okay. I think we've really found our big difference here because I can't fathom what you're saying. The idea of being in bed and somebody just giving me a little straw with a Baja Blast from you.
I want to brush my teeth like thinking about it.
No,
like,
I agree. Baja Blast is a bad example because it is disgusting. But I'm just talking like the idea of anyone just like while I'm in bed, just like giving me a little treat and I go right back. To
roll over and that there be surprise Taco Bell in the physical bed.
Yeah.
Sober. Insanity.
To eat Taco Bell sober I have no judgment about it if you really like Taco Bell, but it feels like anywhere you are there, maybe because we live in a major city and we have good food, but
I'm thinking like have some respect for me, someone that you were trying to have sex with a little. Like pretend. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do we lose all sense of any of that? Like it goes back to the snoring. Like I would be embarrassed about snoring when I'm like someone I'm like getting to know.
Yeah.
Like it seems like a just like intimate personal thing, which I associate like having a Baja Blast in bed at 3 a.m.
Yeah. There's a level of like basic respect for women.
To like look over and see a man fully in like a golem hunched over, like he's like this dude's tall and he was like hoovering Taco Bell and I was fully asleep on the other side of the bed and I rolled over and was like wishing it away. I was like, this is a nightmare.
This is probably a dumb question, but I feel like there's only one correct answer. I'm praying he ordered soft shell, right? Hard shell seems insane while someone's sleeping.
I didn't hear crunch.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, no, he was respectful. He was respectful and ordered a wrap. Yeah, soft shell. No,
Chivalry's not dead, first of all. But
no, but I did hear the like rattling. What woke me up was the rattling of the Baja Blast.
Shaking the ice like a girl with an iced coffee.
And I just rolled and was like, that's, it's not your question, but the most unique way I've been woken up by food in bed would be a 3 a.m. Baja Blast that got DoorDashed to a nice hotel in the middle, somewhere in the Midwest.
You could have been woken up with like breakfast in bed, but instead, in a way.
I could have just been woken up by like him kissing me goodnight, like something made me a little more normal.
See, I any event.
It's so interesting. It's something. It's like there's so many things I haven't thought about you being sick because I don't care about you. But like that's a big one. Like eating and obviously like I know the hospital lifestyle. Like I think about you having to physically be in bed all the time.
Yeah.
But
everything you do in bed,
eating
fully, every meal is in bed, and so like you just get really. And then even when I'm home,
I don't. My mom had such a strict rule. Like food was kitchen only.
We didn't have the kitchen rule. I mean, honestly, because it was like also single mom who worked a lot.
Like, your mom was doing her best.
Yeah, so like we were allowed to eat like in the living room and stuff, but Brad didn't really. I don't know that he wanted to eat meals in the. It was definitely like because I was sick, you know. But my mom still like this is a thing I've been doing as an adult. I think it's ever since I started like getting high and just realizing how much better food tastes when you're high. There's certain foods that I'll have leftovers of, and I'm like, and they're not like meals, they're like snacks or something. And I'm like, I can't wait to eat this high and in bed. Like I'll even if I still want it while I'm eating it, I will purposely put some aside because I know I want it later in a very curated way. And my mom makes fun of me a lot because like anytime there's an event where there's cake, I will literally save it for bed cake. And I will like be like, oh, I will take some of this home because I will eat some of it out of a takeout container. Not laying in bed under the covers. I just mean like sitting on my bed at the end of it, like watching TV or something.
I might need to cut this because I can't remember who just told me this story about cake. But we were all like talking about fucked up things like our mom said. And this particular friend said like her mom had brought home a cake. It was like something was going on. And my friend was not near the cake at all. And her mom said, save some for your brother. Like as if she was eating the whole cake. Like, and I just like think about that projection. Like we were laughing about it so much. But like she was like, I literally wasn't even looking or touching the cake. Like just thinking that everyone has some like relationship with cake that way.
There is nothing.
God, who just told me that story? I'm really blanking on it, but
there's no so bigger fear than any white mom has than a white mom with a daughter seeing cake come out because they're so afraid that their daughter will gain any weight.
I never watched like Real Housewives, but they're Gigi Hadid obviously models, and there's like I saw a compilation of times Yolanda called her fat or told her to stop eating on the show.
Is that her mom?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And well, I've paid a little attention to them because I grew up in Bucks County and they have a farm out there now and stuff. But her mom on the show, like Gigi, like it's like someone's birthday or something, and she's like, "That's enough. That's enough." And like keeps making comments about her eating and everything. And
hell
like,
have no fury like a mom seeing their daughter enjoying themselves. Nothing with food around. Nothing gets an insecure mom more upset than the idea of their daughter. I'm like in public eating sweets.
With the age gap, my little sister, my mom was so lenient with her. Like my little sister had like cookies and milk before bed every night. And then there was a wild, I think like maybe high school into college time because she like COVID times. My mom loved having ice cream at home. We lived near a farm growing up, like all stuff. But my little sister was having a lot of ice cream at one point. And then my mom just, there was no conversation. My mom just stopped buying the ice cream. My little sister's not like a picky person.
Sure.
But she easily lost 20 pounds in like a month.
That's how much fucking ice cream she was eating.
Well, even it was just like homemade ice cream. So even if you have a scoop a night, it's just like you're eating 2,000 calories before bed.
Yeah.
You ever look at like Ben & Jerry's does those minis? I just went to a hotel recently and they have the mini container.
Yeah, Marriott's have them. They're cute. 400
calories.
In a mini?
I'm lying. Can you look it up? But please, Neil, please. But I remember looking at just the like what fit in my palm and the thought of like, did that just? I'll ask you after.
What, did porn come up?
No, it said Dua Lipa because we were talking about it, but the other thing said like 2 Chinese kids playing basketball. Yeah, I hope.
Okay.
I think it's the mini cub, yeah. Yeah, let's see.
340.
Wow.
Wait. And that was Cherry Garcia. Isn't that the healthy one? Well, chocolate fudge brownies, 260 mini cup. Well, that one's 2/3 a cup. The mini cup is
2/3 of a cup is the
so it's about 300
serving
calories.
Size that ice cream gives you is 2/3 of a
Either
cup.
way, it was just like a funny non-conversation. Like my mom didn't have a conversation with her. She didn't need to lose weight.
Yep.
she obviously didn't need to eat ice cream every night, but she was enjoying it and it was fine. And then when it's not there, she wasn't eating it.
Yeah.
And it just became this funny thing because even she was like, yeah, I just stopped eating ice cream. And like, it's like when guys we talked about like stop drinking beer and they're like fit.
They're like, it's almost like I could have done
stopped drinking beer. I'm in the Olympics now. like, oh, go. I'm like, I stopped drinking beer. I gained 4 pounds.
Yeah. A mom just stopped like just hiding a food or like stop buying it is a very funny, but like very real thing that only mothers of daughters.
I don't like snacks, so I never have snacks in my house. And
I'm the same way. I'm
always
not a snack
like,
person.
I can't believe you don't have snacks in your house. I'm like, I can't believe I got called fat my whole life and you eat like a rat and are 4 pounds.
I have a lot of snacks in my apartment currently because I just moved and I got a lot of like when people would like give me like a thing, it was like just like snacks I would not normally buy for myself.
I live alone. I'm not like doing like putting 4 chips in a bowl and like.
I was just writing a joke about this, but about how like when you live alone and like the shelf life of food,
horrible,
like bread, and I'm like, I have a life. I have people who count on me.
I got Doritos for someone that was visiting, and we're not even friends anymore. Like that's how long the Doritos have just been sitting there, and I feel guilty throwing food out. But are Doritos food?
But then you look at like bread or milk or whatever, like really big perishables, and I'm like, I have things to do. I have a family that needs to see me and friends, and I can't sit home all day and just eat bread before it expires.
This is my new pitch. I just brought this up to someone. My new sharks, my thing that I think needs to be brought to life. It's not even a resurrect, but our grocery stores for one. I need like a 4-pack of eggs. I need like a mini milk. I need like a mini of everything.
And it feels so wasteful because even I know the packaging is whatever, but it's more wasteful to like buy a big one and throw it out. I can't sit at home all day and eat a loaf of bread.
Or then you like meal prep. I'm like, okay, guys, I have to have this for 40 days and 40 nights. And then I'm like, I'm not freezing stuff. Also, like, I need a grocery store for lazy people. Great. A lazy one person. I follow this person on TikTok that does, it's like single serving meals for hotties who still need to cook. It's like so specific, but they have like a mini pan and like a mini thing. So you can only fit one serving size. Because that's the other thing is like every pan, everything is like, then you're dirtying huge. It's just
this couple centric world we live in.
Yeah. Or fat.
Family. Yeah. Or fat. Yeah.
Producer and friend Neil Wood here. Brief commercial break.
Hey, hold right there. Don't dare skip this. This is an important message. Me and my boy, Albert Davis, we want to tell you about our podcast, Seriously Dad. Albert, why should they listen?
Because it's the best podcast in the world. It's by 2 comedians who are dads. And you know what we're talking about? Being dads. It's called Seriously Dad. Check us out on social media at Seriously Dad Podcast. And
anywhere you get your podcast, that's where we're at. We're funny. We got some great guests coming our way. We cover the topics you want to hear. Check us out.
I just got groceries. Like, obviously, I was away for a while, and like food culture is so different in the UK, and they like love calling us all fat.
Yeah.
But Scotland literally deep fries everything.
Yeah.
The UK, everything was either no spice, no flavor.
Yeah. That's what I'd be skinny.
Battered and fried.
I'd be skinny if I lived in the UK because my food would suck.
I didn't eat for like 2 weeks.
Their food sucks.
Unless I was going to like an Asian country restaurant. Yeah. That was like the only time my friend texted me. She was like, "What have you been eating?" And then she like cracked up because I gave her a list. She's like, "So you're just chasing Asian people down?"
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So I like did that. I was so excited to come home, but it is a big difference. Like you could tell how much sugar and shit's like, because I wasn't craving food at all.
Yeah.
And that wasn't like because I wasn't missing food. I was like, oh, our food is so pumped full of stuff that you're like, I need more of it.
Yeah. When I went to London, I went to
Trash City.
Saying it was not great. But we didn't stay in the downtown. We stayed in Notting Hill, and it was actually very, very beautiful.
Cute.
It was like one of the prettiest places I've stayed because it's more of a suburb.
Yeah,
I would compare it to like Chestnut Hill.
Yeah.
But we did go to London every day for one thing or another. And I had never left the country before, and I was like, I really want to see, because I always hear people say that about like fast food places being different in other countries. And I was like, I want to go to McDonald's and get like fries and see what the difference is, whatever. Went to McDonald's, got a thing of fries that was right down the street and sauce. And the fries were like not that different, but the sauce didn't have the sauce was super thin. It was like sweet and sour sauce, like it would be in America, same label and everything. But it was like liquid, and I couldn't figure out why. And my mom was like, they don't have high fructose corn syrup here. It's not like gelatinous. They don't have Jell-O stuff here.
Yeah.
And then I don't like ketchup, but I would have been curious to see what their ketchup was like, given that they don't use, like, it's still sugar, but it's actual
still
sugar.
Interesting. And it's like, it's not like a cure-all. It doesn't mean they're healthier. They drink a ton more cigarettes, all the like different things. Like every country's fucking people up in different ways.
Yeah.
In Scotland, they told me to go to this one fast food place, which I did. I was underwhelmed. I ate that in bed because my hotel room in that city was really small.
There you go. Okay.
And it was fine. They were very excited about it. And like, you have to go to this place.
Okay.
Like, blah, blah, blah.
And it was fine.
Well, I walked in. I don't really get fast food. I get deli food. I do Wawa. Yeah. That's fast food.
Totally,
that's like my lane of fast food.
Yeah.
But I'm not like,
I love a deli.
I know what to get at McDonald's. Like if you brought me to McDonald's right now, I'd have to read the menu. Like,
whereas there's people who are like, oh, get me a number 3.
Yeah, like quarter pounder, like whatever. People know what they like there. I would have to read a menu.
Totally, yeah.
So I walked in and I was like done up because I was like out for the night at this cocktail bar and I was like alone and I like had my little purse and like walked in and was like sent there by the owner of this cocktail bar I was at. I was like, hi, it's my first time here. I need some help. And luckily the nicest woman was like, she's like, okay, what do you like? You know, I'm not going to do a Scottish accent, but she was so nice and like walked me through the menu.
Like to hear you try though.
No, it's bad. I'm not good at accents. Are you? You must be.
Yeah, and we had to do it. We had to learn them in school. We had to like take classes on them. I can do Australian very, very well.
I started getting sucked in so hard that I couldn't hear an accent. Scottish, obviously, because it doesn't sound like words.
Yeah.
After a while, I actually got really upset on the plane ride home. I was watching Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets because I just wanted to put on long movies that would distract me.
Totally.
And because I'm a loser. But I was watching it and I got upset because I couldn't tell if Gilderoy Lockhart had an accent or not.
Who's that?
The professor that's like supposed to be like hot, and they find out that in the Chamber of Secrets when he loses his memory that he had been lying the whole time. Like all his books and stuff that he wrote weren't real.
Oh yeah, what's the character's name?
That's the character, Gilderoy Lockhart.
Oh,
I don't know what the actor's name is. Could you look up the?
I've never seen Harry Potter, but I know a lot about it from the zeitgeist.
So I was like watching the movie and I was like, obviously people with British accents, but when you like start watching, you're not like thinking of accents in that way. And then he started talking. I was like, does he have an accent?
Yeah.
And then I got overwhelmed because I had been hearing, I went Irish accent to British accent to Scottish accent. And I was like, what do I even sound like right now? Because I felt like, because I was alone for so much of the trip, that I was mimicking cadences of people because I didn't want to stand out too much. So I can do it when I'm in it.
Yeah.
But I would need to hear you start doing a Scottish accent.
I cannot do Scottish. I mean, the main ones that we had to learn were like
British.
British.
The actor's British, but I don't remember if he had like, and maybe he just had a light accent. But I was watching it and I was like, I don't even know what anything is anymore. What do I sound like?
They're all kind of Scottish is very very mumblecore, whatever you want to call that. But Scottish is not something that we learn it briefly in dialects class, but it's something you hardly have to learn because you never see it in movies because no one wants to hear it.
Yeah, so he's
no offense
British.
To Scottish.
He's British, right? But I like couldn't tell his accent Scottish. In the movie. It wasn't Scottish. I just was listening and couldn't tell if he had an accent.
Yeah.
But I also was on 0 hours of sleep on a flight watching Chamber of Secrets. Doing well. Was really on the up and up. Coming home to my boyfriend who had spent 3 weeks telling everyone we were dating and we had yet to go on a date.
Kind of feels like you can't say you're dating if you've never been on a date before.
And then I had, we decided we were going to open the door to dating. And
he went around and he was like, Jamie and I are engaged.
Yeah.
He told all of Philly while you were gone. He wanted to get ahead of the story so he could control
like
the narrative.
3 people, but it felt like a million.
Yeah.
Because he was going about his normal day-to-day life.
Yeah.
And I haven't committed to a person for real.
Yeah.
I just like admit that I've been cheating on everyone for the last forever. I haven't committed to someone in a long time is what I'll say.
Like there have been guys who I've been their girlfriend, but they have not been my boyfriend. There have been
men that have showed up at my house when I asked them to show up. Yeah. And like, that's their business.
Would they say we're dating? Sure, but that's on them.
Have I not wanted to tell people about most of the people I fucked up with? Correct. So it's all new, and all of it's new. We're pivoting a very close friendship into dating, so it's all new, and I'm being extra cautious. And not that he isn't. I think I'm just like a lot more hesitant because he was like going about his day to day, like with it sinking in as that reality.
Yeah.
Versus I was like in a British castle, just putzing around.
Yeah.
Thinking about it, talking about it with the friend or two that I was with, but not going about my day to day. So it felt very surreal.
And then you got back and
then I came back. Well, I came back for a day in between Montreal before going to, and then we hung out like once, and then I flew back. Well, then I flew out to the UK. And then he was like talking about it like it was like totally normal part of his routine. And then I'm now home and adjusting like literally day one because then he just went away for a week.
Yeah, I was going to say you've hardly been home and he went away immediately. So you've hardly been home together.
Correct.
So
this will be the first like 7 consecutive days we'll be in the same city.
Well, then next week we'll have
like mid-May.
We'll have to hear a review next week.
I'll give a review now. We went on 2 dates since I've been back.
Okay. Where were they?
Well, it was funny because our first like real date, I'll tell you the places off mic, but we went somewhere for happy hour and then went to see a movie, then went to dinner and then drinks after.
What'd you see? Despicable Me 4?
Not yet. That's this week. Big Minions gal.
Yeah. That's like Jamie's
I almost did a
face.
Minion voice. Instead, I can't do a Scottish accent, but I'll go banana. Any day of the week, can't do an accent, but I'll be like... Full.
And you said you
Gavin.
can do accents.
No, it's not an accent. It's like a state of mind.
It's like kind of not a phase at 2 a.m.
Yeah. Anyway, we went somewhere. Oh, so we went on this first date and like lovely plan.
Yeah. Wait, but what movie did you see?
Oh, I'm gonna get there.
Okay.
Because it was so bad, so I need to go in order.
Oh, okay, great.
We went to a happy hour at a like very highly rated, nice place.
Sure.
And my drink was bad. And normally on a first date, you just suck it up and take a jolt it. But I'm with boyfriend who is a career bartender, and I was like, try this. He just looked at me and I could see he was doing the same calculated, like, I don't want to say that either. And I was like, I don't think I like my drink. And I'm not much of a complainer or something like that.
Yeah.
He was, it's bad. And we had ordered like 2 like small happy hour like appetizers. Not good, but I'm not going to say anything.
Sure.
Because maybe he's enjoying it. We're supposed to be having a good time.
Yeah, yeah.
So whatever. He settles the bill. We leave. He was like, that was the worst experience I've had there, and I've been there a million times. And I was like, yeah, not great.
Okay.
So we start walking to this movie theater, and upon walking to the movie theater, and I'm picturing this all being a first date with someone I don't know, like what this, how different it would be, like having a bad first experience.
Right.
Then you're like, oof, that's awkward. Then we start walking to the movie theater, and there's I'll say unhoused person picking up trash with their hands, a lot of stuff in their hands, and they stop boyfriend and say, hey man, do you have a lighter? And he was like, I don't. Which he doesn't. He doesn't smoke anymore. And he's like, okay, well, I have a lighter. The person carrying all the trash says, but my hands are really wet. I can't light my cigarette. Can you light it for me? And I thought this was like a make or break moment. Yeah. Like with someone I don't know on a first date, I feel like he would feel obligated to like light the cigarette.
Right. Seem like you're a fucking hero. Yeah.
Right. And instead, boyfriend just looks at him and goes, yeah, I'm not going to do that. Which I thought was fair. I thought it was like, and then the guy starts yelling at him. It was like, I pay my taxes just like you. And we were just like, okay. And again, I'm laughing because I'm like, what a horrible first date this would be if I didn't know him.
Yeah.
Me enjoying every bit of it, not going well because it's funny and we're friends and it's like an easy thing.
Well,
and we go see
like I'm really into sitcoms. I know you like them as well, but like this is, and I write one, and like this is such a classic, like the will they, won't they for years. They're on season 3, season 4. They finally get together.
First
and then
supposed to be magical.
Right. They finally have like their first date. And it's like, it's weird because we've known each other forever and now we're dating and everything goes wrong.
We go to the movie theater.
And not
a lot of people in the theater. We go see this A24 movie called I Saw the TV Glow. It's rated well. Again, Rotten Tomatoes also.
What theater did you go to? They were playing that.
The Bourse.
Oh, okay. Sure. Makes sense.
Great theater.
Yeah.
Happy to support independent theaters like that. Whatever. And the movie's just slow and not for me. And all I can hear in my head is like my little sister liking it. It felt very
artsy. It's A24.
Filmy. And every time it took a turn where I thought I was going to like it. And it was to a point where I was like, am I the asshole?
Mm-hmm.
Like, am I just not getting this? Or is it, it's not for me and that's fine.
Yeah.
I stuck it out. The movie ends, credits up. Some other woman in the audience goes, Jesus Christ, and just walks out. And then he looks at me and I look at him and I was like, trying to be gentle again. Because I was like, maybe he really liked that. Maybe this is a side of him I don't know or anything. Like, we're newly pivoting in this. And he was like, that sucks. I was like, oh, thank God. I thought about walking out 4 times, but I couldn't leave you. And then we go to his favorite restaurant in Chinatown, kicking off the rest of the night. We get there, closed 10 minutes before we got there. Don't even know. Because
you stayed in that fucking movie.
Don't even know how. Like, it was like a random night. Everywhere else was kind of busy. It was like pretty bizarre. Yeah. And he just looked at me and he's like, I'm fucking all of this up. And I was like, if it wasn't me, it would be pretty bad.
Oh, yeah. If this was a different girl who didn't already know her.
Yeah. Like, if we weren't comfortable together and couldn't say that everything was bad. Yeah. Horrible. So we just went to another restaurant, like, had a very nice meal. And then we, so we went to a bar in the neighborhood, had a couple of drinks, and were able to, like, laugh it off. And then we decided to go to our regular spot and tell a couple of people that were working there. And so it was good. Great. I mean, silly. And if that's happening, no more dates a quarter for now.
This is exactly how every sitcom, and then they end up just at their little hometown dive bar, and then they're like, oh, it's so much better than like the stuffy places we were at before. Yes. Yeah.
We ended up just like the night getting drinks at a place right by my house.
That's actually a very sweet origin story, though. Like that was your first date. And that's because that's how the sitcoms go. Yeah. And they're the doctrine. It feels like maybe things are going to be good.
I think things are going to be great. Yeah. He's great. It's just an interesting transition from friend to dating. Close friend. Not just like, oh, I see him sometimes, like actually every day of my life. Yeah. Like a friend I already share a location with.
Oh, yeah. He's always been, a very good friend of yours.
Yeah. Something changed. The moon. The stars aligned.
I think you just hit season 4, which is always when it changes.
It was season 4.
You hit was it actually season 4 for you guys?
It was
4 years.
It was a year on the dot. No, we've only been friends a year.
Okay, so you're in season 2. Some shows do that.
I think it was like we had to we were only set up for 8 episodes a season. Really rapid fire.
Yeah, okay.
Kind of limited series. We're going longer episodes.
Yeah, a couple of TV couples of,
him asked,
they go quick.
This is gonna sound so gay and lame, but like the scene where like Pam is justifying why it's okay her and Jim never got the timing right, and he opens the door and asks her out, is quite literally how I felt what happened, because I had just resided this year where I was like, yeah, okay, about to be 32, I'll be alone forever, that's fine.
So when you stop looking,
and I didn't even stop looking because I wasn't seeing that guy, but I just was like, I'm okay with that being my life. I am okay with that. I have always been okay with that, all that stuff. And then we went out one night and I was talking about that guy I was seeing. He was talking about a woman he was seeing. And then I got upset when he was talking about this woman. And I don't know why. And then I said to him, I was like, our friendship's going to change. That bums me out. Losing a guy friend because they get in committed relationships sucks, but it always happens. And I was just like, I told him, I was like, I just got overwhelmed, like emotional. We were like out at a bar with another friend. And I was like, don't even know why. I just like, it's going to suck to not be friends. And he was like, that's not going to happen. I always prioritize my friends, even in a relationship, whatever.
Well, it's actually exactly them, because that was your equivalent of Pam at the beach day, the big speech she gives about how like she misses being friends with him, but it's okay that they're not anymore. And then 2 episodes later is when he does that. Oh, so actually that was perfect timing.
2 beers later, we got an Uber and he looked at me and said, would you like to ruin our friendship tonight?
That's such a hot line.
Yeah,
credit where credit is due.
I give him credit for the line, but the joke I've been saying on stage is that our Uber driver said, so 2 stops, right? Because that's like literally what it felt like. Like I was like, I literally looked at him, I was like, there's still 7 minutes in this car ride. And I was like,
no, you guys, I also feel like this is the last Office reference I'll make, but you started it. But you can't give me.
I did, because it was a good that where she's like justifying. Yeah. Like, I'm fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. And he's like, are you free for dinner? That's quite literally how I felt. I was like, oh, I guess. Yeah, of course.
But also, I want to say one of my like biggest, most highlight of my like things I've seen in my life in terms of like a very heartwarming romantic thing was what Michael says to the camera after they go to the company picnic and Holly is there with AJ and they're moving in together. Michael finds that out. And he like is very kind to both of them and like they're together and like he still just like lets that happen. And then he says to the camera and he's like, Holly and I have one of those stories where like he's already talking like he knows they're going to end up together. And he's like, we have one of those stories where when people are going to ask us how we met, it's going to be like a long conversation. He's like, we'll keep doing this and 1 year she'll be with somebody and then 1 year maybe I'll be with somebody and then 1 year maybe it'll be perfect. And then he goes, I'm in no rush. And that line always I thought was like, I love Jim and Pam, but the Michael and Holly, him just being like, yeah, she's with somebody and that's okay because I know what's going to happen in the end.
Yeah, I mean, everyone keeps saying different versions of I told you so. With
that's gotta be annoying.
And I don't think that's fair or nice or anything. And like no one's like flat out said I told you so. Like people have said like glad you got out of your own way and like all this stuff like
or like I knew it.
Yeah, or like oh, okay, you guys are like or when I said something about going on our first date, everyone's like you guys have been on a million dates. I was like we've gone out to dinner a million times. Like,
I feel like that's a funny premise or like opening line for this bit about this on stage is like like when you hear of those couples like the Jim and Pam who like were the will they won't they, but like nobody talks about the part that sucks, which is like the I told you, like how many I told you so's they got later, you know, like how much everyone is just like, oh yeah, we had a feeling. And you're like, so did we. You're not a genius for figuring that out.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, it makes sense on paper, but neither of us are like you guys in selling with the first penis that walks in the room. That's what I mostly like when people say stuff like that. I'm like, just because you would hook up with someone that cares, the first person that cares about you, I never felt that way about him. I always felt like we were just close friends. We always talked like from the jump, hung out, did whatever activities alone, everything. Always just felt comfortable together. But I truly did not see him as a sexual being whatsoever. Still don't. But there was just never that. And it wasn't like a huge switch. It just kind of like when he asked, I was like, oh, I guess I'm actually open to that.
Yeah. You just say yes to the new
We
situation.
had one slip up, I'll be honest, where I got very drunk before leaving for a trip in the winter.
I know you did.
And he walked me home and we went home to watch TV as many nights.
I remember this, you telling me this story.
And I drunkenly sexually suggested something to him, but then fell asleep. And then woke back up and said, we could never, because I don't want to prove anybody right. And then I fell back asleep. We both woke up fully dressed on the couch, 7 a.m. He just stands up, leaves, goes home because he lives very close to me. And then we didn't really talk about it. I left. I didn't really see him for a couple of weeks, like whatever. And then I showed up where he works and he was like finishing up. And I was like, I owe you an apology, like cross the friendship line, disrespectful either way. Like, I don't know how you feel about any of that, whatever. And he basically was like, well, you put my hand on you. I was like, are you saying I molested you? He was like, give me some sass. And I was like, all right, I'm done. I said my apology. Like, that was a weird moment. I don't want to like hook up with you randomly as like a weak, lonely moment. Like, that's not what our friendship is. And I'm sorry I disrespected that. And that was fine. He was like, I'm happy you brought it up. Like, obviously I wanted to talk it out because your friendship matters to me.
Yeah.
And then that was that for like 4 more months.
And look at you guys now. And I was just going to say that I remember saying to you after you told me that story, me being like, what would you do if Josh came to you? Sorry.
That's fine.
Okay, say his name. Okay. What would you...
Joshy.
You've been saying boyfriend. Josh.
Boyfriend's gross. What's gayer, Josh or boyfriend?
They're both equally gay.
Joshy.
Josh. Me saying to you, like, what would you do if Josh said to you, like, I want to be more than friends, and you did exactly that noise you just did a minute ago. And you were like, no, that would never happen. I'm so nervous thinking about it.
That happened to me. My response would be that, and then I ended up saying to people, if Josh and I were to ever date, we would have to just get married. Yep. Like, it's so intertwined that I was like,
yep.
Oh boy.
Well, also, and you can cut this if you don't want him to hear this part, but also reminds me of
his huge dick,
Jim and Pam, because Jim, when he does go to propose, he shows the ring to the camera, and people are like implying that like he knows it's early, it's only been a year, but then he's like bought it out on the after our second date. So it's like, if you think this is early, he's like, I already knew.
I mean, Josh and I have gone on 2-3 dates, but he met my parents. First boyfriend I brought home in 9 years.
Yeah. I mean,
call the police. There was like a newspaper printed about it that I brought a man to the home.
Also, you're not 21 years old anymore.
Why do people bring boyfriends home?
It is so stupid.
So weird. Like I get, like I'm close to my family, love my family. But I was like, I don't need to be like, this is I'm fucking this month.
Yeah.
You guys like him too?
Yeah.
So
no, I agree. But yeah, I feel like things just move when you know. Like there's just couples who it's like they can be together for, I mean, as I've seen in my own life, you can be together for many, many years and still it's just not the one. Like you just know it's not what you want.
Yeah.
But you're happy day to day, but you know it's not long term. And then there's those couples who get, are really serious and make big steps like in months or a year or something. And it looks crazy, but it's like whatever works.
Well, we've talked about like I have a tough exterior, but like my friends know I'm very soft and whatever. And Josh has obviously now found out how soft and lovey and sensitive I can be, which don't tell people. And I literally told him, I was like, absolutely do not tell anybody.
Oh yeah,
I'm soft.
Like
I have a rep to keep up with.
I would die of embarrassment.
Don't let anyone know that I'm kind
when I'm in love.
Oh my, I'm disgusting. Foul.
Take me out back and shoot me.
Don't even take me. Some people should see it happen. But he said, so he goes, I only told one person. I obviously think he's fucking me because I'm, frolicking with sheep in Scotland. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, I told one of his best friends. He's like, yeah, I had to. And I was like, what do you mean I had to? He was like, because he was like, asking me about you. And I just like started saying like, and she has this soft side and I didn't know I needed it. And like,
oh, that's actually sweet.
It's very sweet, but I just don't know if I'm ready for anything.
Yeah. Well, it's too late now. Okay, no, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm married. Liz, I have a ring on.
Yeah. You didn't have that a second ago.
It just pops out. Yeah. Then the next band comes on. Then there's a kid next to me.
It's an engagement. It just keeps going.
Then all of a sudden it's all gone divorce papers.
Yeah, right.
And
you have a 20-year-old guy next to you. I'm like, what?
New boobs. Pillow face.
Wait, I've never heard that term, but that's funny.
Pillow face?
Yeah,
that's what people are calling all the fillers.
The fillers, yeah. It makes sense.
Pillow face.
That's funny.
Yep. So I have a partner, boyfriend. Boyfriend's so lame. Boyfriend makes me want to. Boyfriend
is lame. Boyfriend sounds like we're 12.
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels really undercutting.
One of my aunts texted me. I was like, I want to hear about your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Like, ooh.
It's like that John Mulaney bit about like his girlfriend and like once he got married, like saying wife as opposed to
my wife.
Like, can my girlfriend come with me?
Yeah. Well, literally I went to my friend had a party recently. He was like, hey, why didn't you bring your boyfriend? I was like, ah! And he was like, what? He's like, aren't you I thought you were in a relationship. I was like, don't use the R word. Oh my God. Don't you know?
Jesus Christ.
What are you, retarded? So sorry to talk your ear off about that, but that's happening. So, dates a quarter. So, what's funny? I was listening back on one of our episodes and I said I was going to tell you about the date I was going on. And I was like, but it'll probably blow up by next recording session. And it did. And blow up, I mean, that guy actually, I doubt he'll hear this, but the last date we went on, I just wished it had been Josh sitting next to me.
Mm-hmm. That's when when you're, You're just like thinking about like this moment that just happened. Josh would have thought that was really funny.
Yeah, that's literally exactly what happened.
This person doesn't get why it's funny.
I looked at something and something so stupid made me laugh, and I turned and like wanted to say something. I was like, I don't want to explain.
Yeah.
I don't want to explain humor and life to this man. I only have a limited time on this earth.
Yeah.
I was thinking, so it was truly like I visited Josh at work and was like, I'm gonna go on this last day. Went on a third date with this guy across the street, different bar, and I had more chemistry with the server, like our bartender. Truly, so much so that the bill came. We were at Barcelona, and the bill came, and the guy I was with got the bartender's attention and said, sorry, like our drinks aren't on here. We had had quite a few rounds.
Yeah.
And the bartender was like, nope, you guys entertained me and kept me laughing all night.
How restaurants work?
He's not, some guys aren't used to all of this.
It's like the kid who reminds the teacher to check the homework.
Well, I think it was honestly no drinks were on it. It wasn't like all around. It was just charged for food. So I think he was just checking.
We get our drinks for free when we bit with them because that's our work.
Yeah.
That's our payment.
And the bartender was like, you guys, I think this was Memorial Day weekend because he was like, I couldn't be with my family like today on a holiday. I had to work. And he was like, and you guys were like fun, whatever.
Yeah. It's not easy to be fun like that. But when you do it.
And I looked at my date and I was like, you guys. Fucking
what did he
did
contribute?
All the heavy lifting here. Honestly, our server probably thought it was funny to watch how much I was talking. Just trying to keep my eye
steamrolling the dude.
Just blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Funny bits back to back, nonstop.
Right, and I don't do that for free.
So fat, so annoying.
Which brings in my only roast about you.
Oh, please.
Which is no, I'm just kidding. I was just gonna read. I was just gonna say the text that Sean said as if I wrote it as a roast. Jamie went to London.
No wonder everyone fucking hates fat people.
Fat, stupid, unfunny bitches. I know we have to wrap up in a second, Neil. I'm sorry.
God, I wish it was clever.
But I did have. Did you have something you wanted to lay to rest or resurrect?
Yeah, real quick.
Go ahead.
Something. I just have one that I need to lay to rest. It's very specific.
Okay.
Recreating dead people in scenes they weren't in. I keep seeing artists offer like paintings or like Photoshop. Or, well, I mean, the OG, like when Kanye West like did the hologram, like Tupac, anything like that. Whitney Houston, I've seen people like he did the Robert Kardashian Holocaust.
Yeah.
Holocaust. Kanye, my bad, Jews. My brain just went the worst word chain possible.
Jamie's Holocaust was Robert Kardashian.
Honestly, doing the like dead dad birthday gift. And he like reanimated him saying a birthday message to her.
Oh.
And it was years ago.
Yeah,
obviously. Yeah. I just thought that was so inappropriate. And they left it and it was like put on TV and like, maybe that was amazing for them. And I just went to the Duck Decoy Museum in Havre de Grace, Maryland. And they have these like carvers that have passed away recently, like 2019 was probably the most recent one I saw. They have like fake, like rubber, like human of these men that just died.
It's like the Black Mirror episode.
Carving ducks.
Yeah.
So I just think we need to lay to rest. Like
people lay them to rest when they die. Yeah.
Just fuck me, man. Like the wedding thing and like photoshopping or painting someone who isn't alive into the photos and being like, me, mom, would have really loved to be here. No, they weren't. They weren't here. You don't need to do an imaginary that they were here. It's amazing that they had a beautiful life and you love them, but they weren't at your wedding. Like I've seen more people do like the person with like angel wings in the back and shit. Like, can you imagine if I just started photoshopping my dad behind me in every family photo? The fuck?
Also, talk about doing the classic thing where like we remember only the good stuff of people. Mima probably would have complained the whole wedding. Mima would not have had fun.
She would have called you fat and annoying.
Mima would have hated your dress. She would have hated the music that's too loud, and she would have thought that the best man speech was inappropriate.
I just don't think that's something that needs to be done personally. I also think we talk about all the time. We have no language for grief, no language for death. So for people to keep holding on to people that have passed in such a way that's not celebrating them, but it's not celebrating the person that passed, it's celebrating them.
It's celebrating denial.
Right. Doing the like, oh, my granddad would have loved to be here. I was like, actually, like your granddad would have said the N-word 4 times at this event. I'm just like, the like romanticizing of human life. That person had a great life. I'm sure you love them. I'm sure they loved you. I'm sure it was foundational for your life. However, do not paint them with angel wings.
Yeah.
Do whatever you need to do.
Oh,
everyone celebrates death differently. If I see one more of those like paintings on TikTok where it's like, I know people do the thing where they like leave an empty seat for like a person that passed and
that's
stuff.
Different. Yeah. Or like a drink.
That's like a sweet like mention, like we're thinking of that person, whatever, especially if it was recent.
I was at a wedding. How I
feel about grandparents dying.
I was at a wedding not that like maybe 2 summers ago where it was my 2 friends who met working in restaurants, and front of house, back of house, they got married finally. Their GM who introduced them was their very good friend and was supposed to officiate the wedding. And 2 weeks before the wedding, young guy, just died. And so they still were not, they got someone else to officiate it, but it was really a bummer.
Jeez.
And it was a very small wedding. There was maybe 30 of us it was like a destination, whatever. And all they did was leave not even a seat, just like we all did a shot of like his favorite bourbon. And like, we just had one sitting there for him. And like, that was it. And that was so recent. He was so young and they still weren't weird about it.
Yeah.
No painting him in.
Putting a suit on the chair.
Oh my God. Right. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Pretending
again, I could see people doing that.
It's just called denial.
And like, that one's tough because it's so soon and so sudden. But it's like, it's always the grandparent thing where I'm like,
yeah, you didn't know your grandparent was going to die?
Like, you didn't think there was a chance your 80-year-old grandma wasn't going to make it to your wedding?
It's like being shocked if you hear that I die. You can be sad, but you're not.
But people still will be. We've talked about this. You talk about dying all the time. And like, well, not dying, but you talk about your illness nonstop. And like, can it?
We got it.
But people still don't hear you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like anything where people will still be like, I can't imagine. Or like, I can't believe it.
I can't believe it.
I'm like, she literally couldn't breathe most days. So.
You have my permission to anybody who says they can't believe it, push back. You can't?
I'm going to hold up my phone with reels of yours, like Instagram videos of you saying you're dying.
And then proof that person liked it. And so it means they saw it.
Yeah, I'm just going to hold up you in the hospital, just different images. I'm just going to have a poster, actually.
And it's just to debunk all the people making this about themselves.
You thought she was terminally ill as a bit? Jesus.
Would be funny.
That's what I need to lay to rest.
Okay, you need to lay to rest dead people, which is exactly what laying to rest is for.
Stop painting your grandma. I'm sick of it.
Leave grandma. Grandma would have had such a hard opinion. Grandma would have made your mom miserable at the wedding.
Gone forever. There's so many live people at your wedding. Enjoy them.
Yeah, kind of disrespectful to like your other grandmom who's still alive.
Yeah.
And you're making it all about the dead one.
Like, she's out here spinning her wig around, having a good time.
She's like, I spent money to be here.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to lay to rest. I don't know what to call it. I'm calling it performative lack of knowledge about girl stuff from both guys and girls. The very performative, like the example I wrote that made me think of it is on brand with the Kardashians. I have never seen an episode of the Kardashians in my life. I do not follow.
It's the only reality TV I've watched.
I do not follow much about things that go on in celebrity world. I know which Kardashian is which. I know which one is Kim, which one's Kourtney, and which one is Khloe. But especially, I know which one is fucking Kim.
Yeah.
The performative thing that guys and some girls do, like more like a pick-me kind of thing, but where they pretend, they'll be like, oh, well, I don't watch that show, so I don't know. I'm like, I live in the same fucking universe as you do. So I know that same with the Jonas Brothers. Like, it's this thing where it's like this, it's super performative. It's only just so that they can say, oh, I don't know. I've never listened to, I've never seen. But yes, you fucking do. You live in the world.
I told someone about, like, guys I don't do drama. Like, well, I don't. It's like saying no homo. No homo.
Yeah.
You know who follows the Kardashians more than my girlfriends?
Yeah.
Guys.
Yeah.
You know whose name I've seen under Kim's every bikini photo? Every ex-boyfriend I've ever had.
That's what I mean. And it's like, they're just an example, but the very performative thing where people act like, or like, I've been around guys who will act
What's her name?
Or like, I've been around guys who act like they don't know. If I said, like, if I pointed to my makeup area,
I was just
and there's
thinking makeup.
a bottle of liquid foundation that's a clear bottle of liquid foundation that is skin colored, and a tube of mascara, and I said, hand me the mascara. I have multiple times in my life seen or experienced somebody personally being like, which one? And I'm like, who is this for? Is there a camera around?
But it's
who's this performing for, bro?
The ignorance, like with especially makeup. I just watched this girl on TikTok. I wish I could recall her name, but she did a bit where she was at work and she was like, oh, a guy came up to me and was like, oh, they just like don't make them like you anymore. Like, there's no natural beauty in the world anymore. And she said, make them like me. And then she tagged all her doctors.
Yeah.
She pointed where she got her hair done.
Yeah.
Her nose, her lips, her cheek filler, her lashes, her brows, her skin. Literally, she detailed everything. She was like, my natural beauty cost me $10K a month.
Yeah.
And like, but it's truly like between social media warping things, like men will literally be like, oh, you know, my girl, like, she doesn't wear that much makeup or whatever. I was like, every girl you've ever talked about said that is wearing a ton of makeup.
It's actually wearing more makeup than the girl that you think is wearing a lot.
A friend of mine went viral a while ago with a tweet that was like a guy saying, I love your natural look. And she said, my foundation's $300.
Yeah. Right,
like,
to look natural.
Well, and I was like listening to someone talk about like when men are like, oh, should we split the date, blah, blah, blah. I was like, my lashes alone cost more than this date's gonna cost.
Right.
I was like, if you want to be next to someone that's hot and you want to pay for my personal trainer, you want to do whatever, I'm not gonna listen to you complain about paying for 2 glasses of wine.
Yeah.
When literally I've gone through more pain and whatever just to be pretty.
It's like when they talk about at a wedding what it's like being in a wedding as a bridesmaid versus a groomsman. And it'll be like,
sorry, you had to rent a suit and it still looks bad.
Right. And just like the sheer amount, like we act like it's equal, but it's like the girls had to be there at 6 a.m. for a 6 p.m. wedding.
Yeah.
And we had to spend so much money on all of these things. And you all just were like playing outside until it was time to walk down the aisle. And so then it's like, to a certain level, something like money you give is not equal because the money that you spent to be doing it, like any event, you're right, any date that I go on, we can split it, but I already had to spend so much more time, and I had to started getting ready far before, like
well, it just ties into the whole ignorance of like women, anything, because then there's so many times like I'll explain something to a guy and they're like, oh, I never thought of that. It's like, because why would you have?
Yep.
It's way easier for you to be in the dark about that or think everything's like magically free. I was like, do you see how many more products alone I have in my home?
Yeah.
I was like, this lotion costs more than our date.
Yep.
Like, do you want a hot girlfriend or not?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I want to lay to rest is the really performative level of like, I don't know what that is.
I don't do drama.
I don't know what that. Yes, you fucking do. You know, I've never seen the movie Titanic. I still fucking know who's in it and I know what happens. I know their characters' names also. Like,
I've never seen The Notebook. But I could tell you.
I have seen The Notebook, but yeah, same thing. It's one of those just like Savannah and I actually have movies. That'll be a question maybe for next time, but like movies that we call Titanics, which means just like a movie that you have never seen, but you don't need to. You know everything. Yeah. It's been in the zeitgeist for so long. You've seen every scene as a clip at some point, you know? And yeah, the whole thing where people act, guys and girls, everyone is guilty of this. Not everyone. Anybody can be guilty of this. But when you do the thing where you act like you don't know what a girl thing is, like you don't know what mascara is. If I was like, oh, can you hand me, my blank? And you're like, which one is a tampon versus a pad? I'm like, who's this for? You feel manlier because you did this?
The same thing, my beef with people that say go sports.
Oh, yeah, right. Because their whole thing is like, it's quirky to not like sports. Yeah. Like you're so different. Yeah.
It's not the same exact thing, but the whole performative, like, I don't even know, like, who is that? I don't even know what's happening. Or people will be like, tell me, like, I watch this, or I don't watch this. And I'll be honest, like, I think I want to rant about this here, but I don't really get into reality TV, but I like sports because it's reality TV with higher stakes. You have high performing hot people, and I know all the trash that's going on in their life too.
Amen. Yep.
And like people are obsessed with the Kelsey brothers now, and I'm like, do you not see the crossover?
Yeah. It's the same exact right. And you fall, and then they want to listen to the pod because they want like their life updates and stuff. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Well, what do you think I've been doing? People watch like NBA free agency right now, and all these deals being made. I'm like, oh, this guy's got a baby mom in this city, and what's going to happen over here, and this going to happen over here. I'm just trash.
Yeah. No, I saw somebody walking down the street with a shirt, and it was a fan, not like a actual official Taylor Swift shirt, but it was like a fan art shirt, and it was something from the Eras tour, and on the back, and like I'm not a fan of her music, but I can't stand people talking shit on her just because she exists.
She's fat and annoying.
And yes, she is fat and annoying. That's true. But the shirt on the back said, not liking Taylor Swift doesn't make you interesting. And I was like,
but that person also has an I like sports.
Go for
sports
sure.
Shirt.
But the sentiment, regardless,
is the same shit
of the fact that like,
I've seen a lot of that, like hating Taylor Swift as a personality, and
right,
like,
or just hating pop.
I hope both teams have fun. Suck my beehole.
It's okay to like things, yeah.
It's also okay to not be bothered by someone else liking stuff.
Oh my god! When she came here for the Eras tour last summer, I was on one about with any guy. It happened so much especially because I like
was
sports.
Out of the city. I let someone stay at my house for the concert
because
There's still glitter in my house.
Yeah, that's never going away.
No, she's sweet. The girl that came to my house.
Because I do not like her, not like her music, and I'm not a Swiftie or whatever.
No,
and because I like sports, right? But because I like sports, I had so many guys who like would say things to me thinking I would, like when a white person says something racist because you're also a white person, and they're like, you'll get it, and you're like, yeah, I don't agree with you. Say so much shit on her because I'm a sports girl, and I'm like, do you not like the things you're talking about? It feels impossible that you don't see that. You're mad. You're like, can you believe that people who didn't even get tickets sat in the parking lot? I'm like, what do we do every single fucking Sunday? We tailgate, and it's at the link. So the similarities are. We also sit at Lot D for tickets we couldn't afford.
To Drake and like
right,
like can be like justify pedophilia.
Yeah,
on any like turn of a dime.
Yeah,
turn of a dime, spin of a dime. What's the phrase?
Turn of a
Drake.
Drop of a hat.
Drop top. Hot pot. Hot pot.
Walked right into that one. Hot pot. It's my favorite Drake lyric. Raindrop, hot pot. Yeah, that's my later rest is stop pretending you don't know what things are because you find them embarrassing. You can say
I've never
you don't watch
written
that
this
thing.
Bit, but I've been trying so hard. It's like, because when I lived in New York, if I wore an Eagle shirt, someone called me up. Like, no, fuck the Eagles, whatever. And I'd be like, that'd be like if you were wearing a Wicked shirt. And I was like, fuck Wicked, kinky boots all the way, suck it, dumb bitch, don't know anything.
You're just describing the bullying that goes on in theater school.
Yeah, it's an underworld I've never seen.
Like, oh, you like Hamilton? I bet you don't even know about his original work, In the Heights.
What was that TikTok I seen where the girl said like, oh, it's like a small musical. You guys wouldn't have known it.
Yeah,
like, you wouldn't have known
underground.
It. It's like underground. Like it only ran like 2 cities. You wouldn't have even heard of it.
And then on Disney Plus, but you probably didn't even.
I need to say something positive. Just shake it off before we walk out of the studio on that.
I'm all heated now thinking about.
I got one.
Okay.
Hoo.
I got one. Beep boop.
Beep
bop.
Beep boop. I'm dying up here. Follow the pod.
Yeah, you got to stop being weird about
Kirsten, she's still dying. Yeah. It's like pretty annoying. Have you been getting memos? Probably not from the pod directly.
No, I haven't gotten a single.
Our ratings have gone up. Thank you for that. Keep rating. Keep listening. If you're here, you obviously listen to this whole rant, but appreciate you.
1 like equals 1 prayer for my recovery.
And she needs them. Boy, does she.
Okay, great.
Hey, producer Neil Wood, subscribe now to the Dying Up Here podcast at Dying Up Here Pod on YouTube. And make sure to follow Kirsten and Jamie on all the stuff. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time. Hey, how you doing? This is Neil Wood, one of the co-owners of Drop 10 Media Network and who helps run Biggest Little Comedy. You can check out all the other stuff we do at drop10.com. We've got podcasts, live comedy shows, and so much more. Go over there, support your favorite podcast, follow them, subscribe. We appreciate it, and we're 100% DIY. Just a bunch of creatives trying to make it in this, and give us some feedback. We always enjoy a little feedback. Thanks.
This has been a Drop Tent Media production.